Heavy Hitters is a 12 set of Flesh and Blood coming out this month, February 2024. And I wanted to give you my first thoughts, first impressions of what I thought about the set overall up until this point without actually opening the packs and playing with the cards and what have you. Just what I think before the set is released. Now, the overall theme, I think, of Heavy Hitters, of what the LSS team thought of when developing this, is I think they really came out the offset of not taking itself too seriously. I think that's the whole vibe I get from this set. It seems very whimsical and fun with the coin mechanic, and it seems like they just tried to create cards that really encapsulated fun and not as much just spiky nature, just whimsical things, and just tried to not take itself too seriously, right? I think you can definitely see this in Betsy, the hero. That hero is, crazy. And, a bunch of them. They all look like a bunch of interesting cast of characters, but also the cards and the mechanics and what have you. I think overall they just tried to make a fun set that wasn't trying to be too serious. I think that was the main thing, especially with the whole deathmatch arena and everything. So going through my talking points, one thing I really like about what LSS is doing is the videos of the heroes every time they're released, and they've done such a good job, I think, in really spacing out all the news and information about new sets that are released. I mean, this is the 12th set, and I think that they have a well-oiled machine with that. They give you little tidbits here and here and here every week, and then they start releasing the heroes, and they space it out. They had the little short videos explaining a little bio of the hero. I really like those. I thought that was very well done. I hope to see more video content from them in the future as well, because I feel like in this day and age, especially the Zoomers and the young people, the video content's easy, right, to really comprehend, and it really does get people interested in the game if they see that little video clip. So those I really like. Some big thing that I really like as well in this product is the expansion slot. I'm a big advocate for this change in Flesh and Blood, and I feel like high level, it's really taking a supplemental product and just like taking it out, taking all the cards out of that and then spreading them between 4 to 6 different draftable sets, right? The core product. I really like this, and especially because the cards that are printed in them, the Majestics especially, there are not that many copies out there in the wild early on when those are released, because the expansion slot is like 1 out of 15 or so, 1 out of 15 packs in a booster box, so you usually only get like 1 per booster box, maybe 2, depending on how lucky you are. But that makes it so it limits supply, increases the demand, and increases the price out there. If you see a lot of the prices from Bright Lights for the expansion slot, Majestics, are holding pretty well and also appreciating in value. I think that slot's highly underrated. So I really like that decision moving forward, and I think that a lot of times the supplemental products, they didn't get much traction, especially because the player base was so big, and they're like, I can't draft that. So, it's not opened as much for draft and everything like that, and it's not played as much because it's not a draftable, which, increases the amount of sealed product out there if that type of, driver to, delete boxes isn't there. And also, it's just fun to have a draftable product, right? I love draft, and my favorite type of events for Flesh and Blood overall are pre-release events where you're playing the cards for the first time. Nobody knows what the hell they're doing. So long story short, expansion slot, I think, is a really good pick. I think they should do that for the end of time, and I think it was a very good way to really create a new dynamic where you can put money in the box and another slot to hit in a way. So that is really good. Something else I really like is the play day events. So the play day events seem like it's an event for just new players getting into Flesh and Blood, like brand new players, and you play with a pre-con Blitz deck. I think that the overall construction of that event is sound and it's logical. How it plays out in reality and how it fires off in local game stores, I'm interested to see how successful it really is. Though I do see what that type of event is combating. What it's combating is, the little Bobby going into the game store like, I want to play Flesh and Blood. This is the first game I've ever played. And he goes down against like some, Starvo, or no, probably not Starvo, but like some, crazy Azalea deck that does a 20 dominate arrow, and he's got his little precon blitz deck and just gets, completely obliterated. It's to prevent a new player's experience from not being raffle stomped by a veteran player. So I see where it's going, and I do think that that is a smart idea. And you hear a lot in life, right? First impressions are everything, and I think that that is with the TCG as well. If you're a very new player and you come down to the table and you're playing against a person who's tweaked the shit out of his deck and net decks some like formulated deck from highly competitive players, and they're playing a deck that some kid bought. Like, I bought a Blitz Precon and watched a Sloop Doop video where I could pay $20 extra and soup it up, and it's a quality deck, but it's still not going to beat like a $800 deck, right? So overall, I like the concept of creating events where it's new players only against pre-con decks. And even if veteran players play pre-con decks, I think that's fair as well. I think it's just limiting the power level of the decks as well to make people on even playing field. So I like the concept of the event. I think, though, it's going to be hard to fire. I think in theory it's good. It's going to be hard to fire, especially if you only have 6 players and it can't be any more or less. I think that could be, I think you could do a little less. I'm not sure. But anyway, that's my thoughts and opinions. I think that high level, that type of event is for new player experiences to not get raffle stomped at the table and to have a good first time experience playing Flesh and Blood. So good stuff there. UPF support. I like to see UPF support in this set, and I think that that goes to the theme of not taking itself too seriously. Like I said earlier on, of the whole theme of the set, in my opinion. I'll definitely have to see all the cards later on to see if that's true or not. But just a whole UPF type of cards where I think a couple of the armors, or you get more armor, the more health other people have, or the more armor other people have in the game. I think it's nice to see different UPF support out there, just adding that more depth to the game of different card decisions for if someone just wants to play some fun type of stuff. The art looks good. I really like how all the artwork for the cards and the styles and everything, and the themes behind them. I really like them. I'm trying to recall exact cards, but they escape me at this point in time. But the art is high quality. The only card I think that didn't really appeal to me much was the Team Covenant promo. Rest in peace. But this artwork is a little subjective in that way. I could be wrong, but overall, like, the art quality is really good, especially for what it is. And I really like to see these different dynamics. Like in Metrics, with the last set, Bright Lights, you had all this technology and everything and all that stuff, and then this is just a gladiator theme. And I think that they're doing a really good job overall in maintaining that whole fantasy type artwork while also just converting it into a different landscape of just sands and arena versus just technology and mechs. So I think doing a good job there. The full art Marvels. So the Marvels in the set, I think there's 10 different Marvels. Overall, I think Bright Lights had the ones that weren't full art, and those didn't do so well in the secondary market. All I really want to say on this topic is if a Marvel is full art, personally, I want to see any full art Marvel over $50 mark. Preferentially, I'd like to see it 80 or above, right? That's my sweet spot, around $80. But anything below $50, that's just going to hurt me. The Marvel rarity has to be special. And if you print too many of them and the price dwindles down to like $30 a card, especially for like a Hero Marvel, when like a Bravo Marvel for the Spanish History Pack Black Border is like $500, and then these, if they dip below 50, it's gonna be a weird look, man. So I really personally, the big metric that I have in my mind is at least over 50. Hopefully 80 and above, right? I hope it hits $200 a card, but I'll be reasonable. if it gets around 80 range, that'll be fine. 150, perfect. But anything below 50, and I'm like, ooh, danger. So let's go into another topic. Let's look at bright lights player growth. So I talked in the past when I was talking about bright lights. The biggest metric will be, is the player growth going to increase in 2024, like January and February? And this is really just a question out there in the wild to you as the viewer of this video. Have you seen new player clues that a lot of new players are joining the game? I've personally tried to look at breadcrumbs around. I haven't really seen much. MinMax Games was saying on their tweet or Twitter or whatever, I don't go on there too often, that they were sending a lot of starter decks. So I'm very interested if anyone out there has any information on if there are any new players coming to the game, like a big influx. Because like I said in the past with Bright Lights I feel was a set geared to new players. But it takes new players a bit of time to become just a new player, right? To be I like Flesh and Blood, the TCG. I want to buy cards and buy competitive cards like the Spring Tunic and what have you. Because think about it, if someone orders a brick, right, of Blitz decks, right? They order it, it comes, it takes like a week and a half to ship, and then once it gets to your house, you have to coordinate with your friends to come over and play. They come over and play, you play it out, you have a little bit of fun, you look at YouTube videos, more time goes on, you play again with your friends, you look at more competitive type decks, different ways to do your decks, and then you watch those videos and content, and you order more cards. Those cards come into the mail finally, and then at that point in time, after you've gotten your second wave of cards and doing that stuff, then you more become a competitive player, and then you buy the staples, and you buy more collections, and you buy more cards that you want. That's when you become a consumer. You become a potential consumer here when you just buy the initial product, but there's a transition between acquiring your first products and becoming a regular Flesh and Blood consumer. And the whole point of me saying that is Bright Lights released last year in Q4 2023. And I'd expect if that whole set was geared towards new players, then we'd see this uptick in new players buying a bunch of more staple cards and player cards out there in February and January of 2024. So basically my whole question out there is if you have seen any type of, Carmen Sandiego clues out there that you can tell me, love to hear. Anyone out there who's seen certain things that validates this or invalidates this, be very interested to see that. And that really concludes this whole preview video of heavy hitters. Again, I haven't opened the packs. I haven't played with any of the cards. I'll definitely do a review afterwards, but I just want to give my thoughts, opinions. And I would be amiss if I didn't say, during the heavy hitters preview season that's coming up very soon, there's a lot of content creators that are pumping out a lot of great content for the spoiler and preview cards that they get. I personally didn't get one this time around, but it's all good. I've gotten so many in the past from Legend Story Studios, I think 3 or something. They've been very kind to me, but didn't get one this time. But honestly, I definitely want to relate to you. Please watch all the other content creators who are making videos. They're putting a lot of heart and soul and a lot of time and effort to just try to make you laugh and stuff. So it's good to check that out. Personally, sometimes I don't have the time when they release it to watch all the videos, but I try to make time afterwards to at least go to the FabTCG site, and they have a list of video links of all of the different content creators for all the different spoiler cards, and you can just run down the list and click into each one and just view them in order from top to bottom. That's what I've been doing for the last couple sets, but ultimately the fun thing is, if you do have the time and you're available, it's so much fun to just watch them as they're released and talk in the discords and talk with people and be excited for the set and have those conversations around it. It's a magical time whenever a new Flesh and Blood set comes out. So I just wanted to plug that in the end, a legitimate shameless plug, because I definitely want you to check out other content creators who are really putting a lot of heart and soul into making content to make you entertained. So that's my video. Hope for the best for heavy hitters. I guess something to sprinkle in at the end. I am also just ranting at the end. I'm also very interested in seeing how the secondary market plays out. Card prices, it seems like the single prices have dwindled at a much higher rate. Usually in the past, it usually took 6 weeks for card prices to, peak at the high when there is not that much supply, and then peter out, and in 6 week period to where 6 weeks after the set was released, it was good to buy. Now it's around a 2 week period. A lot of singles have been flushed into the market very fast in a shorter amount of period of time, in the U.S. at least. So that's something I'm definitely trying to look at, and honestly, seeing how well the cards do price wise on the open market. I'm personally probably buying like a case at release, open it up, seeing what I get, having fun with it. Just having fun, just opening like 4 boxes. But after that, I'm probably gonna like buy singles as I see. Again, just as a shameful plug is the Haven Game Store, linked down below in all these videos. They're my local game store, and they sell singles on their site. If you'd consider buying that from there, if you see good prices, I'd really appreciate it. I love the guys over there; they're really good people, and just like to point people in that direction. So thanks for watching, man. Have a good one.